So we're gonna start that back up from the top since my keyboard apparently, if you hit the enter key, it just ends the live totally. It's not YouTube censoring me, I swear. It's actually me. I'm the one that's causing the lives to drop. It's this keyboard right here. I have this keyboard over here, and it's this little enter key right here. If this gets pressed for some reason, it will drop the whole stream. I have no idea why. It's this little enter key. So that's what's going on. Pro streamer. Yep, that's me. Pro streamer. Okay, so anyway, welcome back, guys. I'm going to just take it from the top. I don't have a lot on the plate for you guys today. We've got some stuff. We've had a lot of busy days lately, so today's going to be a much less busy day. There's a lot of new content on the channel. However, I just published an hour and 15 minutes roughly of me debating at the UT Austin. So it's Prax, Ben, and I. The two topics were Islam is not compatible with America and socialism is evil. Ben, of course, handles the majority of the questions related to socialism in Christian apologetics. I handle the majority of the questions related to Islam. So definitely check that out. I think it's a great episode. And what's interesting about this UT Austin episode is, as we were talking about before the live dropped, I was kicked off of that campus. So the reason cited, and I'll come back to this, was that we were doing an expressive activity as non-students. So when we got kicked off, we actually just went right off, like literally 1 inch off of campus. And we set back up, and I just finished editing last night, another hour and like 45 minutes of pretty much uncut debate. So that's going to be up here pretty soon as well. So make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit the bell notification so you know that when I post new debate videos, you can go watch them. And also you'll know when I'm live on the ground at a riot somewhere. We've got some interesting things coming up. We're going to be at more protests here pretty soon. I'm not going to say when or where, but there'll be more. Back to this expressive activity thing, as I was explaining before the live ended so abruptly. And you can watch this whole interaction between me and the police and the dean of students in the video that I just published. It's the most recent video on the channel. Unless we posted clips, I don't think we have. Just look for the one that's about an hour and 15 minutes long. I think it's like an hour plus, give or take. So check that out. But here's what happened. We were told that we weren't allowed to be on campus, the Fearless Tour, set up with a table and speaker and microphones and cameras, because we were non-students who were doing expressive activity. So I went and asked the cop, and I said, what does it mean to be doing expressive activity on campus? I'm a non-student, so I asked him, like, are non-students allowed on campus? He said, yes. He said, okay, so like if I was here to walk my dog, because when I go to University of Washington or pretty much any other campus in the country, there are people walking around, they're walking their dogs, they're older, middle-aged people, they're bringing their kids on campus because it's nice and it's not, a city block, whatever. And so he said, no, you're allowed on campus as a non-student. I said, okay, so what am I doing as a non-student that is different from somebody walking their dog or bringing their children here? That means I have to leave the campus, but somebody else doesn't. He said, well, you're doing expressive activity. And I said, okay, well, if I was to walk around campus in a MAGA hat, that's an expression. Am I allowed to do that? Yes or no? And he said, you'll have to ask the dean of students. He's right over there. So I went and I talked to the dean of students. And I said, okay, we had the same interaction, asking the same questions, and we get back up to this MAGA hat thing. And I said, am I allowed to walk around campus in a MAGA hat as a non-student? He said, yes, we allow that silent, expressive activity. And I said, okay, so that's interesting. So it's not expressive activity; it's something else. You're lying, or you just aren't familiar with the rule yourself, or you're making it up. One of the above. And I said, okay, so what if I was walking around campus in a MAGA hat and somebody stopped me and they said they don't like my hat? Am I now allowed to engage in a conversation with that person about my hat and about what it represents? He said, yeah, of course, you're allowed to do that. Okay, so now I'm allowed to debate on campus, engaging in expressive activity as a non-student. And I said, okay, so what are we doing here that's different than me wearing a MAGA hat and engaging in discussion with somebody? And he said, oh, well, you're the crowd, you're drawing a crowd. And I said, okay, well, I have no control over the amount of people that congregate in front of my table. I mean, how am I going to control that? I have no authority here. I can't order people to leave. That's actually your job. right? It's actually you and the university police's job to make sure that the roadways are clear and that there's not blockages on campus due to crowds forming. Not mine. And he said, well, it's just you're going to have to read the policy. And I said, you're the one enforcing the policy right now and actually kicking me off campus, so I would expect that you'd be familiar with the policy if you're going to be removing me from campus. And he said, you're just going to have to read it. You're just going to have to read the policy. And I said, oh, well, it sounds like, I'm not understanding. And he said, well, it's clear that you're not understanding it. And I said, no, I'm not understanding it because you're contradicting yourself. I'm not understanding it because you're not making any sense, because you clearly aren't familiar with the policy yourself. You're just some lib dumbass who wants to kick a bunch of guys that have unpopular opinions off of campus. And so we left. I should have just stayed and got arrested, honestly. And next time I will. If it's a situation like that where there's a clear constitutional infringement. Somebody earlier asked me if that's grounds for a lawsuit. Absolutely, it's grounds for a lawsuit. By the way, there was lots of other tables that were there set up with the sole intent of soliciting conversations. The Democratic Socialists of America were actually set up right across from us. They said another thing is the amplified sound. We're not allowed to use amplified sound. But there had been a dude sitting on a bike with a speaker protesting us the entire time we were there. And so we're like, why are you enforcing amplified sound against us? And so, whatever. And so we left and we just set up an inch off campus and we did the same thing. And the administrators followed us to the edge of campus. Other administrators coming out of buildings to make sure that we were actually leaving. And we set up, and I actually cranked that speaker to max volume and blared Mr. Blue Sky, courtesy of the red, white, and blue and stuff like that, just off of campus, with zero regrets at all. And, it went fine. And we got another hour and 40 minutes of footage, and that will be posted soon. So, it was interesting, obvious constitutional violation, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. And to that I say horns down. I will never have a favorable view of the Texas Longhorns as long as they continue maliciously and in a unfair manner removing people from campus. Because, by the way, again, there were tons of other people doing the exact same thing we were doing, and they chose to kick us off. Unfair enforcement of a constitutionally abridging law. Whatever. So, like I said, I've got a lot of stuff. Or I don't have a lot of stuff on the docket for you guys today. We got a couple stories, but first I'm going to go on a rant about the United States Postal Service, which is total, complete, and utter trash. And the bigger picture is this is what happens when you have government-run institutions. This is a perfect example of how privatization is better than government-run institutions, which are totally trash. So I had to go pick up this lovely Sony G Master 24 to 70 millimeter lens today for a new camera that I bought. Beautiful lens. Had to go pick this guy up, and initially the tracking was wrong, so it sent me to the wrong post office, which was 20 minutes away. So I get to that post office, and there is a line from the door to the front desk, and I get in there, and I check the tracking again, and it says that it's actually at my local post office, which is, by the way, just at the end of the street. So now I'm really upset that I drove an extra 20 minutes to stand in this door to desk line for 20 minutes. And so I leave, I get back in my car, and I drive to the post office in my town. I get there, and yet again, what do we have? The exact same scenario that was in the other post office. A door to desk line. And by the way, I live in a small town. I don't live in a big city or anything. Okay. Nobody speaks English. Everybody's speaking a foreign language. The people, there were a decent amount of white American nationals in there that spoke exclusively English. But when I say nobody spoke English, I mean the staff didn't speak English. So I get in there, and there's a white guy. There's two staff. The first one I went to only had one person at the counter. One person serving the entire post office. This door to desk line. Probably 25 people. Okay. So I get to the next post office. None of the staff speak English. There's a white guy at the counter. And He's trying to interact with the staff and figure out what's going on with his packages or mail. I don't know what he was doing. Whatever he was doing, they don't understand what he's saying, and he's not understanding what they're saying because they don't speak the same language, which, by the way, should be illegal. You shouldn't be allowed to be a post office worker in this country if you don't speak English, right? If it's not your first language even. Literally should be illegal. Like, if you show up to your interview and you can't get through your interview because you don't understand English, there should be no accommodation. We'll give you the interview in Spanish. You should be done. Okay, we speak English in this country. If you don't speak it, you don't work. At least not at the post office. Okay, that's your problem. That's not something you can't help, right? Go learn English. Download Duolingo. I don't know. Okay? So that's the first problem. The next problem is there's a woman at the desk, a customer, who doesn't speak English, another foreign-born person. And she's demanding that the desk give her change for $100, for a $100 bill. They give her change for, I don't even think she was mailing something. She's demanding, she's up there in burqa and she's demanding they give her change for a $100 bill. Sorry, hijab, whatever. Ma'am, this isn't a bank. This is a Wendy's. You don't get change for $100 here, okay? Another issue. Like, do you not understand where you are? This is a bank. And she's literally arguing with the staff of the place, of the post office. I need to change for a $100 bill. Ma'am, we don't have change for a $100 bill. I need change for $100. What are you doing? This is not a bank. Go to the bank, which is, by the way, next door. Like, were you not able to figure out? Did you think this was the bank? What are you doing? Okay. One dude standing in line, again, still not moving the line, by the way, because you've got the white guy over here who can't communicate with the person, with the staff. You've got the woman over here who's demanding change for a $100 bill. Line's not moving. It's been like 15 minutes. And one dude he's got a big package. I can't do this. And he walks out. Finally, the line starts moving. They tell this woman who's demanding change for a $100 bill to move aside. And she just stands on the other side of the desk waiting for somebody to come help her, apparently. And the line starts moving. Finally, somebody comes. He says, anybody who's here to pick up a package, I can help you over here. I shuffle over. Immediately, the entire line shows. So I'm now in another, like, door to desk line. He comes out, and he starts helping people. And he goes, okay, here we go. Okay, give me your ID, blah, 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 whatever. Woman in front gives the ID. He goes into the back. Not a huge room, by the way. Takes, like, 10 minutes to find the package. Comes back, gives her the package. The next woman, he can't find the package. He spends 10 minutes in the back, can't find it. Goes back and looks again. Next person goes back, takes 10 minutes. So it's just a cycle of, takes 10 minutes. So now, like, the amount of time I spend at the post office, like, ridiculous. Okay. So finally, I get up there. I give him my address. I give him my name. He goes back. He finds my package. It takes him 10 minutes. He comes and he gives it to me. Finally, I get to leave. But this is just this is what happens when you have government workers that make virtually no money and they don't give a shit about their job. Their performance, how well they do their job, will never affect how much money they make. They're not going to get fired. Nobody wants to work in the post office. Okay? Have fun replacing them. They're already, like, most of them are already understaffed. At 2 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock on a Monday, why do you have one person working the counter at the first post office I went to with a door to desk line? Monday's a popular day to pick up packages and mail stuff out. Why? Because you've spent the whole weekend shopping, making sales, whatever. Now you have to go to the post office and mail stuff out, pick up packages. Sunday, the post office isn't open. So you have an influx of people on Monday. Why is there one person working the counter? Why are there 2 people working the counter at the next post office? Because you have an inefficiently run system full of people that don't give a shit about their jobs, and their performance, how fast they serve people, how well they do their job, how efficient they are, will never affect their pay. It will never cause them to lose their job. And so it doesn't matter. Like, you've got homie over here going in the back looking for packages and smoking a cigarette. Honestly, not actually, I'm joking, but like, he might as well have taken a smoke break for the amount of time that it took him to find the package. And you have people literally leaving the post office, leaving the line, because they cannot sacrifice 30 minutes to an hour of their time to pick up a package. Ridiculous. And that's across the same across the board. Go to the DMV. They don't give a shit about you. They're just, the DMV literally, in any city, they just want to get you out as quickly as possible. Whether that's not, oh, there's an issue here, see ya. You know, they're not going to help you fix that issue. They're not going to tell you what you can do to fix that issue. They're trying to get rid of you so they don't have to deal with you. That's what they're trying to do, which inevitably just pisses people off more and results in more tension at the DMV, which actually makes their job tougher, but they don't care because they're only thinking in the immediate future. How quickly can I get this person away from me and deal with the next person? And that's the issue. And by the way, the Pentagon has a DMV, guys. The Pentagon has a DMV. The credentialing office at the Pentagon it's literally a DMV. It's literally, you walk into the room, you say, hi, I'm here to like get credentialed, whatever, and then you take a seat in the waiting room, and it's like, now serving number 1, 2, 3 at desk number 1. And it's like, this is a nightmare scenario for me. It's like such a huge opportunity and so great. Nightmare scenario. Now, no dogging on the Pentagon. I understand that it's a government institution, but I would advocate that the post office, the U.S. Postal Service, just dissolve it. Just dissolve it. Just dissolve it. We prefer FedEx anyway. Just get rid of it. FedEx moves faster, more efficiently. Let's just get rid of it. Let's just get rid of it. The DMV, also, let's find somebody who can do it privately. Let's find somebody who's going to fire people for not doing their jobs. Let's find somebody who's not going to hire high schoolers and 80-year-old women. Please, I'm begging. There is nothing more horrific for me and post-traumatic than going to the DMV. It is the worst thing. It is the worst thing. I don't care. Government buys FedEx. I don't care. Let's do it private. FedEx doesn't operate perfectly either. Okay. Nick Sorter got attacked a couple days ago. Let's pull this up. There's a video of Nick Sorter getting attacked. Let's turn the sound on here. I don't know why the sound is so low. So let's just rewind that a little bit. So you see what happens here. Nick is filming, and for some reason he's like filming with his front camera here. He's like filming with this camera for whatever reason. So he's filming right here, and you see him, and they try to steal his phone from him. They grab his arms, and then Nick punches them. He's got something in his hand. I don't know what it is. Punches the person, and then they all grab him. By the way, for defending himself. Everyone's saying, all I saw was Nick Sorter punching somebody. Yeah, why did he punch them? Here he is, by himself. He's being touched already. As soon as it starts, he's being touched. He's got his hands up. He says, stop touching me. And what does the person do? Grabs his phone. And then grabs his arm. And then literally pulls his arm down. And then he fights back. And then he gets restrained by those very people. An entire mob of them. And gets pulled into that mob. And then he gets grabbed by this person. This person comes up and literally grabs the neck of his shirt and rips him. Looks like it was a water bottle in his hand, I think. We need to take attacks on journalists seriously, especially on independent journalists, because it happens so often. But for some reason, we just write it off. It's fine. You know, these people can continue attacking these people. It is so rare for somebody to receive justice, an independent journalist to receive justice after being attacked like this. This person literally just tried to strong-arm rob him, and he had to defend himself, and then he got ripped into a mob forcefully. Then he got pulled by his neck into another mob. It narrowly escaped. When you allow them to do this, when these people continuously face no consequences for doing these things, they will continue to do these things. And right now, it happens with impunity. This was in New Orleans at a protest, an anti-ICE protest. You just give them impunity. It's monkey see, monkey do. When they attack a journalist who they don't like because they view them as far right-wing propaganda or whatever it is, they attack them, nothing happens to them, they go home and sleep like a baby at night. It just teaches them, it's a gear shift in their brain. I can do that, and I can continue to do that with no consequences. And from now until the end of time, they will continue to tell themselves and their people that we can do this and nothing will happen to us. The hammer needs to come down. It's only going to get worse. Now, after the attack, this is what happened. More people touching him.
You're not going to lay hands on me. That's not really right. You can't get control over your own people. It's really bad, guys.
So they continue to touch him, and of course, nothing happens. That was posted by Turning Point Frontlines. Now, here's what happened before the attack. And people were using this as justification. Oh, Nick's a provocateur. He deserved it. It doesn't even matter. Like, if Nick was provoking them, verbally, it doesn't even matter. Because, by the way, he's allowed to do that. And if somebody provokes you, if I walk up to you and say, hey, you're a fat pig, guess what? You don't have the right to touch me. Okay? Keep your hooves to yourself. It doesn't matter. They're words, sticks and stones, my friends. So here's what was going on before Nick got attacked. We are They're continuing to touch him. This is before the attack. They're touching him. They're pushing him out. So he ran up on their stage and he said something and then they grabbed him and pushed him off. You don't have a right to do that. This is not a permanent event, and even if it was, you still don't have a right to forcefully remove people. Now, what you can do is call the police if it's a permanent event, and you can ask this person to be removed from your permanent event. You have a right to do that. You don't have a right to grab that person and push them downstairs. They are touching him again. Blocking his movement, which, by the way, is against the law. You can't block somebody's forward movement on public property. This is outside of the federal building there. Oh, there's Gabe.
This is way too much running for the day.
I didn't even have the hat on this time.
And they're all following him.
I can't possibly go around it, can I? Oh no, how do I?
So people were actually using that video to say that Nick was provoking people, despite the fact that he's the only person being touched in the video. That he was provoking people and thus justifying the attack on him. And again, it doesn't even matter if he was provoking people. And what is provocation? Like, anything can be viewed as provocation. What I get told is that my existence is provocation. You know, I ask people, they say, you're here to provoke. I say, how am I provoking? They say, oh, well, you're a right-wing ideologue and you're here. I said, okay, so I actually haven't said or done anything provocative. It's just, you know, me being here is provocative. And so, you know, also, does a woman in a short skirt deserve to be raped? I don't know. It's not really adding up. Okay? So, regardless, it doesn't matter what Nick said before this. It doesn't matter if he called somebody fat. It doesn't even matter if you call somebody the N-word. Okay? Which apparently in the where was that attack recently that the guy said the N-word, which it was in the UK, I think. Regardless of what you say, it doesn't justify being attacked. Oh, it was in Portland. Lovely. Yeah, a jury acquitted a black man of stabbing a white man by a Portland jury after the victim said the N-word. And if I'm not mistaken, he actually said the N-word after he was stabbed. A Portland, Oregon jury has cleared a black man of assault charges for stabbing a white man after it was revealed that the victim said the N-word after the attack. Gary Edwards, 43, was found not guilty of second-degree assault after knifing Gregory Howard, Jr., 43, on July 7th, KPTV reported. Edwards admitted to stabbing Howard Jr., but claimed it was in self-defense after the victim had used racial slurs. Self-defense after the victim used racial slurs. By the way, there's no double jeopardy in the United States. So you can't try somebody twice. Now, this might be grounds for a mistrial, I'm not sure. Both men are homeless and have lengthy rap sheets. A video from transit cameras showed Edwards approach Howard, who was sitting on a bench, from behind with a fixed-blade knife in his hand. As soon as Howard sees Edwards, he jumps up and starts pushing him. The pair briefly scuffle against a wall before Edwards suddenly stabs Howard in the shoulder. There is no audio in the video, but Edwards' defense attorney, Daniel Small, told the jury his client was approaching Howard to see if he would trade his knife for cigarettes. One second. I'll be right back. I need to do a demonstration. Sorry, guys. I'm one for theater, so we'll just do it with the sword. Hey, man. Can I trade you my sword for a package of cigarettes? Yeah, you right there. Can I trade you my sword for a package of cigarettes? Now, if somebody came up and did that to me with a fixed blade knife, they came up behind me without having said anything, I'm probably going to act in self-defense as well. Comes up behind him with a fixed blade knife. He sees the guy and pushes him back. Seems perfectly rational to me. So stupid. Police body camera footage captured Howard calling Edwards the N-word in the aftermath of the attack, after cops rushed over to intervene. Howard claimed he only used the racial slur after being stabbed, but Edwards testified that the victim called him the N-word the moment he saw him. And to that I say, who cares? You don't have a right to stab somebody because they called you the N-word. You don't have a right to stab somebody because they called you anything. It doesn't matter. Suck it up, Buttercup. You can't stab people because they call you mean names. Quote, what other than racism could explain why Mr. Howard perceived hatred, animosity, and aggression from a complete stranger? Maybe the fact that he had a fucking knife in his hand. If I see somebody with a knife in their hand approaching me from behind, it's on sight, bro. The prosecution said it was irrelevant what Howard said after the attack. Prosecutors also argued that Edwards was always, quote, in control throughout the attack. Quote, the defendant is not scared for his life. He didn't retreat. He sauntered up. And he sauntered up away after he stabbed somebody. The defendant created the situation, prosecutor Catherine Williams told the jury. Oh! He brought upon his own stabbing. He brought upon his own stabbing because he called somebody the N-word. Why was this guy even... Edwards, who was acquitted on October 31st, has previous convictions for... So, like... I can't even make sense of this. So the prosecution is arguing, I made a mistake. She argued that the defendant created the situation, which is true. The defendant did create the situation by approaching somebody with a fixed blade knife. And the best story he could come up with is hey, would you like to trade for some cigarettes? No. Edwards, who was acquitted on October 31st, has previous convictions for attempted second-degree assault in 2021 and was sentenced to 3 years in prison for a separate stabbing at a Portland light rail station in May of 2020. This guy has a history of stabbing people. He has a history of high-degree assault. Felony assault. Nah, he was definitely just trying to trade his knife for that guy's cigarettes, for sure. That's for sure what he was doing, guys. I know, people in Portland are just the dumbest people possibly on planet Earth. He was also accused of fourth-degree assault over a fight with a store clerk, but the case was dismissed in June because of a lack of available public defenders. I can't even, man. Howard also has a lengthy rap sheet and was convicted of felony rape of a child in Kitsap County, Washington in 1997, records show. And listen, I'm not going to say I'm against stabbing a pedophile, but this guy had no idea he was stabbing a pedophile. I'm not going to say I'm for it either, to be clear. I'm not advocating for that. I'm not saying you should go out and do that. Just to be extremely abundantly clear, and let me just be even more abundantly clear, you should not go out and stab pedophiles for legal reasons. But, yeah, it's just, regardless of what this guy's done in his past, obviously this black guy, Mr. Edwards, Gary Edwards, should have been convicted for stabbing this person. He walked up with a fixed blade knife behind him and then attempted to stab him, to which the plaintiff pushed him back and attempted to defend himself, and a jury acquitted him because this guy apparently called him the N-word after the attack. Absurd. Hello, Bentley. So this whole riot where Nick Sorter got attacked started because there was riots over ICE raids, go figure, in New Orleans.
Everyone, U.S. Border Patrol.
Guys.
Oh, and by the way, like, this isn't even... Who posted this? Okay. Yeah, these people all like gather around. This isn't even ICE. This is Border Patrol. Nick accurately reported it.
Give us some more move.
Yeah, that's U.S. Customs. Customs, Border Patrol. So this is the situation that led up to that protest you just saw. It seems that it was a rather impromptu protest sparked by these Border Patrol raids on houses in New Orleans, which led to this situation outside of what appears to be the New Orleans Federal Building that resulted in Nick Sorter being attacked. And on the topic of political violence, there was an alleged attack on Tim Pool, where somebody apparently drove up to his complex in West Virginia and shot at the building. He said several shots were fired. And now Colin Rugg is reporting Tim Pool says there is a possibility that his show will end in the next 2 weeks following death threats and his property being shot up. Quote, "We have to have these conversations. There is a possibility that the 19th is the last episode of Timcast IRL. We are doing everything we can to make sure that's not going to be the case. It's no secret that I've been frustrated and disillusioned with a lot of people in politics, but that's no reason to walk away from doing our nightly show. But the cost is not just money anymore. The cost is safety of my family and myself." So let's listen to what Tim has to say.
With the people, our contract. So where does that leave us? We have 2 weeks left in the year before we go on our Christmas hiatus. You know, I'm not a big fan of any kind of hiatus. I would prefer just to work. But it is taxing, it is grueling, of course. And there's a lot of infrastructure here that requires me to work all day, every day, Monday to Friday, with some extra work on the weekends.
And Tim is like a workaholic, to be clear.
Usually meetings.
So I think he's going to end up not doing this personally just because he's a workaholic, but...
And I'm probably going to have a stroke. My health's actually pretty good. My blood pressure is great. My resting heart rate is actually around 45. I exercise quite a bit. Haven't been able to skate in the past month or two, the holidays and But we have to have these conversations, and I have been with the people, our contractors, people we work with, our vendors, partners. And one thing is clear: the violence will get worse. It is going to escalate. We cannot keep going as status quo. Something has to change. It may be that, as we described after the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the threat to come and shoot up our studio and our workplace, we asked, at what point do we say we can't do this anymore? The cost of running Timcast IRL Studio and the projects around it exceeds the amount of money it brings in. That's just that breaking point, isn't it, for any business? If you need $100 to, run your restaurant, but you're only bringing 90, you go out of business. The issue? The cost isn't cameras or lights. The cost is security because of the escalation. It's an artificial cost to doing business that we can't balance.
Now, what he's saying is correct. I mean, post the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and in this kind of new world we live in, which is a constant, not that this wasn't the case before, this constant onslaught of death threats and threats to come to your house and kill you, something I deal with and have to manage as well. It is difficult because security is extremely expensive. And this is something I have to weigh every time I go out. How much security to get, whether or not to get security, whether to go undercover, whether to be out of cover, whether to live stream, whether to not live stream. Because it's a lot of trade-off. And while those death threats, that constant onslaught of death threats, and I'm going to kick your ass, I'm going to come to your house, all that stuff, it all existed before Charlie Kirk was killed. But it all feels a lot more real in a world post 2 recent assassinations on President Trump, because it's really been more like 5 or 6 actual attempts to kill him, and post the actual live stream assassination of Charlie Kirk. Every threat is more credible now than it has been in the past. And this is something that Tim has talked about a lot as well. But with that being said, you can't fold. You can't fold and lay over and let them win. Because if we do that, all we are going to do is teach them that it works. And more people are going to get killed. Because it teaches them, if you kill people, you erase Tim Pool. If you kill somebody, not only do you erase Charlie Kirk, you erase Tim Pool and anybody else who subsequently falls off, stops, quits, gives up. I do this because I believe in it. And if somebody is going to try to kill me, like, this is just something that you have, like, especially when you're sitting in the chair on college campuses, or you're, in a violent mob of leftists who want to kill you. It's just something, it's like, if somebody's going to try to kill me, they're going to try to kill me. There's not really any escaping it. Do I give up? Do I give up my life's work? Do I give up the thing that I care about most, in terms of ideas, or, obviously the first thing I care about most is my girlfriend, but do I give up the non-personal, the non-human entity thing that matters the most out of anything to me, which is the truth, which is making this country better, because somebody's wants to kill me? It's the same trade-off as being a police officer. Being a police officer, every day you go to work, somebody might try to kill you. Somebody might stab you with a hypodermic needle that leaves you with some incurable disease, HIV, HPV, whatever it is. You risk that somebody bashes you in the head, that you get serious injury every day. If you join the military, every single day that you go to work, you risk being killed, even if you don't leave the homeland. Now, with the recent assassination of the 2 National Guardsmen in Washington, D.C., that's a reality for a lot of occupations. And a lot of times the people in those occupations don't leave them because of the risk. Because what they're doing is more important than the risk to their single persons. I feel that the work I do is more important than the risk to my person. Not that I think I'm going to get killed. I hope it never comes to that. But you can't just pack up and quit, because there's risks, and there's a possibility that somebody will come try to hurt you. And I don't think that Tim will. I think that his show is going to continue. I think that it might be something he's considering at this time, but I don't think it's going to end. Let's see what else he has to say.
We can't forego security, but we can't sustain it either. So I've had some conversations with our partners, been talking with Rumble. There may be a solution, and it's going to be rapid change very quickly. We're going to have some emergency meetings. We've already had emergency meetings for obvious reasons. And there is a possibility that the 19th is the last episode of Timcast IRL. We are doing everything we can to make sure that's not going to be the case. It's no secret that I've been frustrated and disillusioned with a lot of people in politics, but that's no reason to walk away from doing our nightly show with a tremendous success. But the cost is not just money anymore. The cost is the safety of my family, myself, and there are many ideas we're floating around.
And I do understand all of the concerns and issues that Tim has, because they're the same concerns and issues that I have. I've had people literally attempt to kill me and almost succeed, and then text my phone that they know where I live, and then try to buy a gun right after. Like when I got attacked in Seattle and almost killed, literally attacked me with steel-plated gloves, and I don't know where the helmet is, but literally like his knuckles are indented into my helmet. If I wasn't wearing a helmet, which I almost didn't, by the way. I rarely wear helmets. At that point, I rarely wore helmets to protests. I only wore one because Jonathan Cho texted me and said, hey man, like they might be throwing rocks today. If you're going to be close to the police lines getting coverage, you might want to wear a helmet just in case like a stray rock hits you in the head. And I was like, oh, great point. You know, because oftentimes these protests, you're kind of like near police lines, then you're in the mob, and then you're near the police line, whatever. And so I wore a helmet that day, and then, you know, they jumped me. They literally held me down and beat me over the head with steel-plated gloves. And if I wasn't wearing a helmet, I'd be dead or in critical condition. And then that person, while the Seattle Police Department failed to prosecute that person, failed to arrest him, he texted my personal phone number, giving out personal details about me, saying he was going to, he has my address. He then texted me from an anonymous number, said that he had my address, that he was going to come. He's sending me my entire family's names, my extended family. It's a real threat. It's a real concern. It's not a joke. So I understand Tim's concerns there, but if we surrender, if we give up, we are surrendering this country to them. Because if Tim quits, he won't be the first one to quit. Or sorry, he won't be the last one to quit. More people will quit in his wake due to the same concerns. And if we do that, we are surrendering this country to them. To those people, the people who killed Charlie, to the people who attacked me, to the people who shot into Tim's complex, to the people who previously shot into his house. We are surrendering to them. And they will take over. Because they will have no opposition. And we can't let that happen. It is paramount. Because it's not just me and my family. It's not just Tim and his family. It's our entire posterity. It's the future of our country. Every American who will live from this point forward. The Americans who are born within our lifetime, the Americans that have already been born, the Americans that will be alive long after we're dead. We are condemning them if we give up and surrender. And so we can't. And to be clear, again, I don't think that Tim will. I think that his show will continue. I think that he will continue doing what he's doing. But hey, that is what it is. So I wanted to make you guys aware of that. We've got a former Turning Point USA employee in donations speaking up. We're going to play her.
I worked for Charlie Kirk
video real quick.
For Turning Point USA as the donor communications liaison for about 6 months. The other day, an ex-coworker of mine went online and started bashing Turning Point, calling it evil and the people that work there evil. That didn't sit well with me. And so I'm gonna tell you the truth. The truth is I have every single reason in the world to be mad at Turning Point. They kind of screwed me over 3 different times. I have every reason to stand on TikTok and bash Turning Point. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you the truth objectively as possible to my experience. The mission of Turning Point USA, in case you forgot, is to educate high school and college kids about conservative ideologies. Charlie Kirk was its founder, its CEO, and a public figure that had his own ties and relationships with other people not associated with the organization that helps to bring those conservative ideologies to high school and college campuses. I think the organization in a whole is disorganized and slightly dysfunctional. Nobody really knew what was going on.
Which, by the way, is the case for pretty much every right-wing media company. Like, they're all... I can't speak for... I can only speak for some of them because I've only done work with some of them and whatever. I can't speak for every major conservative media company, and I would imagine this is probably the case for most media companies in general. They're extremely dysfunctional, and that's not a surprise to anyone who has spent time around them. But most companies are dysfunctional, so it is what it is. But the lack of organization is probably contributes to things not adding up, right? Lack of organization. This video is obviously in response to recent allegations from Candace Owens and other people, Ian Carroll, whatever, sort of not outright saying it, but kind of implicating Turning Point USA in Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Into the time that I came in, there was a lot of changes being made, so I give them grace for that.
And by the way, I'm just going to say this now because we're going to do a whole expose on this. I'm going to dig into this, the allegations from Candace, the evidence that she's gathered, which, by the way, is almost nothing, of Turning Point somehow being in on this assassination on Charlie Kirk. And we're going to reveal it because I've had a look that nobody else has had into the group chat that Candace Owens brazenly posted a screenshot out of context of Charlie Kirk, claiming that he was leaving the pro-Israel cause, and that was, her catalyst for basically making the implication that Israel was somehow involved in Charlie's assassination and that Turning Point was on board. And that was a lie. And she either knew it was a lie, or she lied about having access to more details in that group chat than she did. So I have explicit information about that, and I'm compiling things, and we'll reveal it in time. Now I'm not gonna say go after Candace and call her a liar for that, because I'm not showing you the evidence right now. I'm saving it for a comprehensive breakdown, one that I'm planning and one that is going to need some time dedicated to it, because there's not a lot of Candace hasn't provided a lot of evidence. So that's not a problem. Like, debunking the information is not an issue, really, because there hasn't been hardly any information provided. There's been a lot of baseless claims made, and that's what I need to get to the bottom of, is like, what has she said? Like, what has she actually said? What claims has she made? What claims has she fixed? Like, what claims has she realized she was wrong about, been publicly debunked, and then made a correction to? Because that's an issue too. If I'm going back and I'm starting at the beginning, which I'm doing, and watching her episodes, she mentioned me on her show again today. She's making fun of me. How am I to like debunk these claims if I don't know if she's redacted? So we're gonna go through all of it, and I'm gonna make sure that I have the most up-to-date information, and we're gonna look at it all objectively, and not objectively actually. I'm not objective, but we're gonna look at it from a standpoint that I'm willing to be proven wrong. If she has adequate sources and evidence that she's shown, which so far I haven't seen, and I'm several episodes in, starting back when Charlie got killed, I haven't seen any substantial evidence of that. But anyway, let's continue this.
But the organization is slightly dysfunctional, and that's just a fact. But nobody there is inherently evil. A lot of the people that work there and are in power there are in power for a reason. They want money, they want status, they want power. Turning Point was a great place to work your way up to that. That's why people were working there. And the people in power were harsh and they were strict and they had strict guidelines that a lot of people, when I had gotten there, started to slack on because the organization was changing. This person, who you guys probably seen the videos of her going around saying that Turning Point is evil, when the truth of the matter is they were just strict. They weren't evil. And people crack under strict pressure, and unfortunately she cracked. Now she has a personal vendetta against Turning Point and going online and saying that they're evil and that she agrees with Candace Owens. Now my opinion on Candace Owens varies. I hope and pray in her heart she is just doing what she thinks is best. But I don't know how you can sit there and call yourself Charlie Kirk's best friend and claim that you have the #1 podcast in the world and bash people that Charlie loved and who loved Charlie. I don't know many of the people that she mentions by name personally, so I won't talk about them. But I will talk about Mikey McCoy. I interact with Mikey 3, 4, maybe 5 times since I was working there. And every single time, he was kind and nice and intentional and smart and personable, and he remembers things about people, and he cares for people, and he cared about Charlie. When I heard that Charlie died, the second person I thought of was Mikey, and how he was most likely there, which he was, watching his best friend and his boss be murdered. I have no reason to believe, after working there, after personally knowing Mikey McCoy, that Mikey would have anything to do with his best friend and boss's death. And truthfully, I kind of find it appalling that somebody who claims that she's Charlie's best friend would go on to her #1 podcast in the world and bash people that loved Charlie. I get the desire. You as fans of Charlie want to know the truth. You want the deeper meaning. You want it. I get it. I personally was really interested in the Idaho murders because I went to school in Idaho and I got so invested in it and I started losing sleep about it because I wanted to know the truth. But the truth is that those kids unfortunately are dead, and the truth is Charlie unfortunately is dead. And maybe it's bigger than the shooter that we think it is. Maybe it's some deep state thing, but I firmly believe it has nothing to do with Mikey McCoy or the day-to-day people who run the operations at Turning Point USA. Part of my job was answering the phones, and I'd say more often than not, I got more hate calls than anything else. And the security guard that you guys saw doing those hand motions in front of Charlie, he was the person that kept me safe while I was doing my job. And another person that a lot of you guys are targeting online that I promise you is a good, kind person that you guys are attacking because you want to make a point, because you want to know more. And trust me, I understand that you want to understand what's going on. I get it. But you can't do that by attacking people who loved Charlie, like Mikey and like the security guard. Now, I only met Erica Kirk one time, and it was in passing, and she was with her kids, so it really doesn't count. But my first experience is what you guys are experiencing with her online, and I can understand where you guys are coming from, with her feeling cold and disconnected. But you have to remember, she just watched her husband be murdered. I want to give her a little bit of grace and a little bit of time. Turning Point is hers by Charlie's will. This is her company now. Now, I met Charlie twice. First time I met Charlie, he was so nice to me because he thought I was a donor kid. And the second time I met Charlie, he was kind of rude to me and a little bit arrogant and standoffish. And it personally hurt my feelings. And then I left Turning Point with kind of a bitterness towards the organization and towards Charlie. But after...
So here you have a former employee of Turning Point who specifically worked in donor communications, who left the company disgruntled because she felt as though, as she put it, she was screwed over twice. A person who didn't have a necessarily positive view of Charlie because she had a negative interaction with him. Which when you have a negative interaction with somebody and it's like the first time you've met them or maybe the second time you've met them, it really sticks with you. I mean, like, when you have a negative interaction with somebody, the first or second time meeting them, you remember that for a long time. And until they correct it, it doesn't really change. So she has a negative outlook of the whole organization. She has a negative outlook of Charlie. And she's coming forward, but I think she understands, like, the importance of Charlie and the importance of Turning Point. As she mentioned it in the beginning, she's talking about, Turning Point seeks to spread conservative values to colleges and high schools. They are very efficient at doing this, and this is obviously something she cares about. Otherwise, she wouldn't have worked at Turning Point. But people don't just go work at Turning Point and PragerU or the Daily Wire for money. There's no money in it. Okay, you don't go work at these conservative media organizations because there's money, right? If you're gonna go work in donor comms, go work in donor comms at some major nonprofit. It could be literally anything super niche, and it's gonna make more money than one of these big three conservative media organizations, right? So obviously it's a passion-driven thing. She leaves the organization with a negative outlook of the company. And now she's coming forward and she doesn't believe necessarily that Turning Point was involved. And she certainly doesn't believe that Mikey McCoy was involved in Charlie's assassination. And so, I'm not going to speculate on this at all. I wanted you guys to see it. I thought it was interesting. And I've reached out to Delaney here, and I'm going to try to interview her. I'm willing to, if she says something that proves Candace right on something, I don't care. Again, I'm in pursuit of the truth. That's all I care about. If Candace is right, let her be right. That's fine with me. And actually, I'd be happy. I wouldn't be happy if she was right, because that would mean that Charlie's organization turned on him, backstabbed him, and assassinated him. But I'm willing, if she is correct, I would be happy to discover that she's correct. And I'd be the first person to sign up and help her. But the fact of the matter is, she's already lied about a bunch of stuff. She claimed that I was on Turning Point payroll. That's not true. I have done a few contract jobs for them. Maybe 3 or 4. And then, using that lie, she attempted to implicate me in a cover-up. That's what all of her fans are coming and telling me, is that I'm involved in the cover-up, clearly. Because Candace said I was on their payroll. Turning Point's payroll. They're already taking the idea that Turning Point did this as fact, because what Candace does is she alludes to something. She makes so many implications with no evidence that it leaves what she's asserting leaves no possible conclusion except the conclusion that she wants you to reach. She's not saying it, but she's leaving you with no possible conclusion other than that. If I tell you there's a person in front of me, and I say, yeah, this person, I'm not going to say they're wearing a hat, but there's something on their head. And it's not their hair, but there is something on their head. And it has a P that this person sitting across from me is wearing a hat. What's on their head is a brim. They have something on their head. It's not their hair. I'm not going to say Tim Pool is wearing a beanie, but he does wear something made of a thick, meshy material on his head. It's not his hair. I'm not going to say it's a beanie. What could it be? Maybe it's a beanie, right? I'm not telling you what it is. But I'm leaving you with no possible conclusion other than the person across from you is wearing a hat. And that's exactly what Candace does. So, I just thought that video was interesting. I wanted to show it to you guys. We're potentially going to interview that person. Andy No did a little assessment on why he thinks that Tyler Robinson is the assassin. And I'm not even saying that I believe this, right? I'm not an expert on this topic. This whole little squabble between Candace and I did not start because I contested the idea that Tyler Robinson wasn't the assassin. I'm not an expert on that topic. I'm not informed enough on the assassination to know whether or not Tyler Robinson did it. Since Charlie got killed, I've been on the road, making sure that the legacy doesn't die and making sure that people don't think they can just kill us to get us to stop. That's what I've been doing. Candace Owens has been making shit up on her head in her house and then airing it out to the world. I've been on the ground. Okay, so I'm not educated enough on Tyler Robinson and what the FBI has said to know whether or not he's the person who killed Charlie Kirk. And by the way, neither is she, because she doesn't have all the evidence either. Okay? This is a murder investigation. Generally, the public doesn't have all the details of a murder investigation while it's still ongoing, because if they did, the prosecutor or the defense would also have all of that information, and they'd be able to keep their defendant out of jail The state doesn't want that, obviously. If they think they have the person who did it, which Cashapp does, he said there's zero doubt in his mind that anyone at Turning Point did it, and he believes that Tyler Robinson is the killer, right? They're not going to tell everyone, oh, here's the evidence against him. Don't use it in court, though. It's a murder investigation. So this is what Andy says. There are no great mysteries surrounding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Investigators identified and arrested a suspect within 48 hours, and the evidence released has consistently aligned with the accusations against Tyler Robinson. Authorities have provided videos, photos, interview summaries with family members, and what they say are recovered communications between Robinson and his trans lover. Robinson believed, like most, Democrats are leftists, that Kirk spread transphobia and needed to be stopped. Yet, factions on both the left and the right continue to pump out viral conspiracy theories and fabrications. Left-wing influencers immediately and falsely claimed that Robinson was a far-right MAGA supporter. The lie spread so widely that some mainstream liberal outlets began reporting it as a possibility despite the rifle cartridges showing Antifa dog whistles. On the right, YouTube and social media personalities have spent months tugging at every supposed loose thread: a man in the bushes, men in maroon shirts, unrelated aircraft flight data, foreign operatives, and elaborate international plots. None of it has led anywhere. The result is wasted time and torment for Charlie Kirk's family. What's most dangerous is how this nonsense drowns out the real threat: the escalation of left-wing political violence, while conspiracy influencers chase clicks and cash. Far-left extremists continue to radicalize one another, laying the groundwork for the next attack. Even worse, the misinformation is spreading so widely that it may be difficult to impanel a jury untouched by it. And that is an amazing point. With all of these is Candace's goal to keep the actual killer out of jail? Because spreading all of these wildly fantastic and false conspiracy theories with no evidence will undoubtedly make any jury that has to prosecute Tyler Robinson or anyone else who is implicated in the commission of Charlie Kirk's assassination wildly conflicted. The jury will be wildly conflicted. Here we have Tyler Robinson. I believe this is him walking onto the campus with the gun in his pant leg there. Here he is climbing up onto the roof, or maybe that's him getting off. I'm not sure. Here's the gun. And then here's, I believe this is the trans lover. Or maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's Robinson. I'm not sure. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's incredibly dangerous what's happening. And nobody has profited from Charlie's death, to my knowledge, more than Candace Owens. I mean, she rakes in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per month on YouTube. And it's most likely hundreds of thousands. Let's just go to Social Blade real quick. And Social Blade is pretty accurate. I mean, from what I've seen, generally it's like in the middle. So she makes, it estimates $15,000 to $247,000 per month. So that's 240. It's probably like around $115,000 a month that she makes, and yearly $174,000 to $2.8 million. It's probably somewhere in the middle. And this doesn't even account, by the way, for like brand deals. She has so many brand deals in every episode. She's like undermining the entire investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. She's like, oh, by the way, Cozy Earth, like buy the pillows, or whatever the hell she's advertising. I don't know if it's Cozy Earth, whatever it is. But let's check this out too, just to show how stupid she is. Why is this not loading? So this is a recent thing that she's tweeting out. She's like trying to she's not saying she's doing it, but she's trying to undermine the Tim Pool stuff, this attack on Tim Pool. So this is Tim's, one of his tweets about this person driving up and shooting at him, shooting at his complex. It's my immediate thoughts is somebody was trying to scare us, but we have security at the gate and armed guards. It is possible that this deterred something more serious. Candace says, can security provide a description of the vehicle so that people can help you track these people down? Also, if shots were fired, they had to hit something, so you can likely recover the bullets and trace the gun's owner. She's obviously, like, she's been fighting with Tim Pool all week. She obviously doesn't believe it. Somebody even says right here, everyone calling everyone liars is hilarious. Candace says, I'm absolutely not saying he was lying. I am saying that this has now happened to Tim multiple times, and since the police have failed to track down this would-be murderer, it's probably prudent to try to crowdsource information. Now, this is exactly what I would do if I thought somebody was lying or I was calling their bluff. It's exactly what I would do. And if you watch my videos, I do it all the time. If somebody says something, they make a claim that seems outrageous and outlandish to me, say, okay, prove it. What's the evidence? Exactly what I do. And sometimes I'm even a little bit condescending like this, where I say, oh, I'm just trying to help. Well, certainly it would be like of prudence to you to reveal this information. Like, this is obvious debate tactic. She's obviously trying to call his bluff here. She's obviously not seriously concerned. Otherwise, she wouldn't be obviously condescending here. Now, what's interesting is she said, can security provide a description of the vehicle? Do you guys know where I'm going with this? Because she actually said, she tried to undermine Tyler Robinson as a suspect because the text messages used the word vehicle. Let's hear it.
Vehicle. Well, I mean, what pops up for you? Is that something that you say? I'm just going to go outside to my vehicle. What's popping up for you? Oh, probably literally nothing. Maybe something related to the DMV. That's what came up for me.
I don't know where you guys are from, but like in my town, everyone says that. Like where I'm from, like where I grew up, everyone says, oh, I'm just going to go outside to my vehicle real quick. Like super common. I know it's kind of weird the first time you hear it. Like, why did they say vehicle? Like, not car, Jeep, truck, whatever. But it's actually in like some parts of the country extremely common, especially among rednecks, which Candace Owens apparently doesn't understand, despite the fact that a large portion of her audience is likely rednecks. I grew up in a redneck part of the country. Okay, I grew up in a trailer, and this is how rednecks talk. But hey, whatever. Candace Owens just contradicting herself again. She literally says vehicle in the thing, and then she tries to undermine the idea that somebody would use the word vehicle. It's just silly. It's just stupid. With Candace Owens like undermining the FBI and all this stuff, I found it interesting. This is circulating again. This is a Jesse Waters segment where they talk about Derek Chauvin being stabbed 22 times by an FBI informant in the Mexican mafia. Claimed he did so in solidarity with BLM. The story didn't really add up as to why he stabbed Derek Chauvin. Now, I missed this story, and I was like, holy crap, like, why is nobody talking? I logged on Twitter. I got a drop-down notification for this, and I went around. I'm like, how is nobody talking about Derek Chauvin getting stabbed 22 times? This was posted yesterday at 6:04 p.m. And so I saw it about 19 hours after it was posted. And I'm like, how is nobody talking? I mean, I searched Derek Chauvin stabbed or Derek Chauvin. It's just a whole bunch of tweets saying he's innocent. Nothing about him being stabbed. And I was like, how the hell is nobody talking about this? And then I realized this story is not recent. It is from 2023. And in the segment, you'll hear Jesse Waters like intentionally undermining the FBI. And I was a little bit confused and taken aback by it because I'm like, what is Jesse Waters trying to implicate the current FBI of? Being in on stabbing Derek Chauvin. It's like hypercritical of the FBI. And so I'm like, what is going on here? And then I realized the story is from 2023 while Biden was in office. And so, of course, Jesse Waters is being critical of the FBI. It doesn't surprise me at all. But my question is, why is this being posted on December 7th, 2025? I missed it. I missed it in 2023. Somehow I never heard of this story. I'd never heard of this. I never heard of Derek Chauvin, or maybe I did, and I just forgot about it. I don't know. But I did not recall this. I did not recall Derek Chauvin, and it's a pretty big deal. Like, I feel like if I did know about it, I would have remembered it. But I didn't recall Derek Chauvin getting stabbed 22 times. And so I wondered how many other people didn't remember this and then just saw this and like assumed that the Trump FBI was like covering this up because it's what it appeared that the Biden FBI was doing. It appeared they tried to have him killed. I mean, this guy, this former FBI informant, Mexican mafia, stabbed Derek Chauvin 22 times and then waived his Miranda rights when the FBI showed up. I mean, it seemed like there was something going on. By the way, he was like 3 years away from getting out of prison. He was serving like a 22-year sentence or something like that. And he was about to get out. And he waived his Miranda rights as soon as the FBI showed up. So, it seems super sketchy, and it probably is super sketchy. But it's not recent. It's years old. And so why is it resurfacing now and being passed off as something that happened recently? Let's see. Derek Chauvin was stabbed at least 22 times by a former FBI informant and Mexican mafia member who says he did it in solidarity with BLM. His race is listed as white in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. The journalist who spoke with Chauvin and produced The Fall of Minneapolis, Liz Collins, joins Primetime. Nothing in this indicates this is an old story. And all these people, like none of these people have seen it clearly. Free Derek Chauvin, this stinks to high heaven, wow, free Derek. Like it appears that none of these people are aware that this is old, or most of them aren't at least. So, very interesting. And I think that the timing on the release of that, the re-release of that is very interesting. We've got your favorite guy, Guy Christensen, defending the National Guard shooter on Piers Morgan. Let's take a look at that.
When you say this murderer was not a terrorist, he's a resistance fighter, and when you restate your belief that the shooting is being used to weaponize violence against Palestinians, but we will meet it with our own greater resistance and escalation, clearly people will see that as a direct threat against other civilians.
Why do you think resistance happens?
And it's not resistance, it's terrorism. When you cold-bloodedly murder people in the street in DC as a response to a war that's going on in Gaza, that is terrorism.
It's a reaction to the genocide. He couldn't bear it anymore.
No, it's just cold-blooded murder. That's what it is.
It's murder. I agree with that.
You agree it's murder?
I agree it's murder.
Okay, obviously. So then he's a terrorist then, right?
No, he's not a terrorist.
What is he?
This is so weird. I don't know if Mr. Lakenwall, the terrorist, by the way, who murdered a National Guardsman and critically injured another one, I don't know if that person did it because of what's happening in Gaza. Honestly, I doubt it. But if that is the case, I just find it so disgusting that Guy Christensen won't admit that he's a terrorist. Why? Why are you defending this guy? Why are you defending him? He's not a terrorist. He's a murderer. He's not a terrorist. Why is he not a terrorist? He's justifying the murder. He's saying, "Oh yeah, it's murder, but it's okay murder." That's what it is.
Reacting to the genocide. Yeah, sure, he's a murderer,
and he's murdering.
I'm not going to condemn him.
Do you accept he was murdering for?
I'm not going to condemn him. Notice he said that.
He was murdering.
The genocide he couldn't bear watching torn apart Palestinian children.
Wait a minute. Do you accept?
Oh, I can't bear watching torn apart Palestinian children. So let me kill a U.S. National Guardsman. 2 of them. Does that make any sense in the heads of anybody? Hey, by the way, the National Guardsmen are not in Gaza. Hey, by the way, the National Guardsmen are the National Guard. They guard the nation, not fight in Israel or in Gaza. I don't know if you figured that part out yet. Like, these people are on mission in D.C., not in Gaza. So even if that was the reason, it still doesn't make any sense.
accept that he was murdering for political reasons?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, then that's a terrorist. That's literally the definition of a terrorist. You don't even know what terrorism is, do you? Well, guy, you don't. I'm sorry, and it's not funny. With all due respect,
it is funny, but it's funny at him. He shouldn't be laughing. We're laughing at him.
Obviously, have no idea what the word terrorism means. That is literally the definition.
The word terrorism means
when you
nothing
murder somebody
nowadays.
for political
Everyone understands
motivation,
that. Just like the
that
word
is terrorism.
anti-Semite means nothing when they give it to someone like Miss Rachel.
You've literally just called him a terrorist, having denied he was a terrorist.
Tool.
Right, you've literally just said. Sorry, Guy, with respect, let me speak. Let me speak. Just to be clear, when I said to you, did he murder these people? You said yes. And when I said, did he do it for political reasons? You said yes. That is the definition of terrorism. And yet your response at the time was he's not a terrorist. He's a resistance fighter. And I put it to you. You have now admitted.
He's not a terrorist. He's just executing political violence in reaction to a political issue. He's a terrorist. And that's all I have to say about that. He's an idiot. Let's pull up Discord. We're going to open it up to some conversation. We're going to keep it on about let's see, how much time should we give this? Let's give it 20 minutes. We'll do 20 minutes of questioning. I'll let you guys question me for 20 minutes. I'm going to set a timer right now. I'm going to join Discord now. I'm going to join a stage. The link to Discord is in the description below. So if you want to question me, if you want to argue with me, join the stage. It's called Cam stage, or it's called debate stage, I guess. Again, the link to Discord is in the description below. And you just have to raise your hand, and then... All right, we got somebody already.
Hey, what's up, Cam?
Hi, how's it going?
You're starting a debate stage, is he?
Yep.
What for?
We're doing wait, is this for share?
Yeah, they just changed my name.
Oh, I see. Yeah, we're just doing questioning. I'm trying to do
cool.
like live questioning at the end of every live stream.
Yeah, that's fun. I'll just stick around in the audience.
Cool, sounds good.
All right, have fun.
Thanks. Hello. Try to bring somebody up. It didn't work, I guess. All right. I can't even read that. Refer. I accepted your request. If you want to come up here. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Cam, it's Reef.
How's it going?
They changed my name.
Oh, I see.
I'm part of that game, I guess. Hey, man. Lots of respect to you.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing. I wish it was what I was doing when I was your age.
I appreciate it.
So, I live in Maine, and Maine's getting really bad. Like the stuff that's happening, that's getting the coverage, like with the Somalis, it's happening here too.
The Somali issue is happening in Maine?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right in our state capital. And it's really scary. Like I make up, I do some stuff on Facebook, and I'm in some conservative groups. And I recently made a post that was kind of made me look kind of ambiguous. You couldn't tell as far as like if I was conservative or if I was a liberal. I didn't want to really give people like an idea of which one I was, and the hate that got was ridiculous. It was just basically a post about how I see all these gas prices going down all over in the country, but not a damn thing has changed in Maine. And you wouldn't believe the number of conservatives. There's like over 1,000 comments of hate.
Wow.
On Maine, just because I'm in Maine and I posted that, the conservatives in the country just went off.
The conservatives went off on you?
Yeah. Said some horrible stuff. And after a few days, I finally came out and said, well, I'm a conservative. I vote red every single time. And I'm just really disappointed that nobody gives a shit about Maine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Meanwhile, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with any of the people that are going to be running in the next election up here.
No, I'm not. I'm not super familiar with local Maine politics.
There's a guy named Bobby Charles.
Okay.
That's trying to get Trump to like have a look at us. And he has a petition that I just signed. I posted it in here somewhere, one of the channels. Just in that right there was like $800,000 worth of fraud going on in what we have Maine Care. It's not like Medicaid. It's called Maine Care. And there's about $800,000 worth of fraud connected to Somali immigrants, illegal immigrants in Maine.
Wow. I'll have to look into that.
I can send you some information.
Yeah, definitely
if you
send
want
it to me. Yeah. Definitely send it to me.
Thanks, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
I watch you religiously, and
thank you.
I'm just so proud of what you're doing.
I appreciate that a lot.
You're definitely my number one journalist to be watching these days.
I appreciate that a lot, man. It means a lot to me.
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, bud.
Thanks, I will. Thanks for coming up.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too. Okay, let's see. Let's bring this person up. My cats are like fighting in front of me.
Hey, how we doing?
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, doing well. Just figured I'd join up. First time joining the call, and just kind of had a random question for you, just generalized. I agree with you on most parts, but as kind of a mid-20s guy who's been in the trades most of my life, who's also kind of finishing up a degree, definitely noticed it's very easy to get disenfranchised with kind of the way things are going right now, especially with regards to pay, with relation to corporate profits, stuff like that. It's kind of really easy to feel like a pawn and just kind of not want to participate in it. Do you have any advice towards guys like that just kind of, we're for the country, we're for it all, we want to keep going, but are also kind of realizing that we're kind of having this card stacked against us?
Yeah, what part of the United States do you live in?
I'm going to be like Northwest Michigan.
Northwest Michigan. And
so it's pretty rough up here in Michigan specifically, but that's also to do with our specific administration in this state. But
whole
different story.
I would recommend, while you're young, getting the hell out of Michigan. I
agree, though. Trust me.
Yeah, that'd be the first thing that I'd recommend for sure. And the next thing I'd recommend is, I mean, what kind of trade are you in?
I mean, I've gone from pretty much electrical to everything else. I've been a certified emergency vehicle technician for FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, and like dozens of local agencies. However, there's like 2 companies in the whole state that do that, and we just left the one that I was at. So kind of retraining and doing other stuff now, but electrical. So there's definitely stuff out there. It's just a matter of getting enough money to move out.
Yeah. I know it's difficult to move too. I would recommend
different nest egg for sure. Yeah.
I would recommend looking for jobs outside of Michigan, and when you find one of those jobs, just move and take it. And if you have to sell all your stuff and move, then do it. Like that's what I did when I got my first good job that wasn't, you know, making like nothing. Which is for a long
The
time.
qualifications are there. It's just a matter of finding a place that actually values the work you do.
Exactly.
I said, I've worked for major agencies, major governmental agencies. I'm qualified to work on their state communication systems in every regard, and we maxed out at $20 an hour.
Yeah. Don't look at.
So it's like,
don't look at what's gonna help you now. Don't look at what's gonna help you in this immediate short term. Prioritize what's gonna help Doc 5 years from now instead of what's going to help you now. Don't think about your current self. Think about your future self and what's going to make you better off, as opposed to what's going to make you better off today. Because selling all your crap and moving is going to make you a lot better off in the future if you can get a nice job with good benefits, as opposed to keeping all that crap and remaining in a crappy job. When I moved out to LA for work, it was I quadrupled my income. I was only making like $15,000, something like, probably more than I don't even know them. I'm bad at math, but whatever. It was a lot. It was a huge increase in salary for me, a huge increase in yearly income, and the company I moved out for didn't offer a relocation package, and so I literally moved to Los Angeles with 2 suitcases. Now I put a bunch of stuff in my mom's storage shed, but I literally moved out with 2 suitcases, 5 outfits. And I don't even think it was 2. I don't even think it was 2 suitcases. I think it was 1 suitcase and a backpack. So
just committed to it and sent it.
Yep. I brought what I needed to work with me, and what I needed to take the clothes, or what I needed to like go to work, like clothes and stuff like that. So laptop, all that. So just whatever's going to help you in the future, prioritize that as opposed to what we think is going to help you now. You're in your mid-20s, you said.
Yes, sir.
Now is the time to make those changes, not later, because there will come a point in your life where you've accumulated too much stuff to move, and those changes need to be made now. Don't think about like friends. Don't think about family. In terms of being close, you can always fly back and visit those people. You can always move back later once you've brought stability into your life. But those changes really are going to become more and more difficult to make the longer you go on, the older you get.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that perspective. It's really easy to get caught up in things and only look at the now and not really look at the future. And especially with the way everybody's talking, I know a couple other people, a couple of the other commentators, such as Tim Pool, they're kind of catastrophizing a lot of stuff. It's easy to get caught up in that, even though I know he obviously has good reason to be fearful. I mean, it's in Michigan. It's definitely easy to get fearful living near Dearborn as well. For sure. So I appreciate your take on that, and I'll definitely be looking into some of those advices you gave. So
yeah, definitely. And for legal reasons, I am not a life planner or anything. So
totally. I totally get that general advice.
If anybody takes my advice, if anybody takes my advice, do not sue me later because you sold all your stuff and moved somewhere. So
all good. I totally get where you're coming from with that. I appreciate it, and that's kind of what I was asking about. So thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll hang around for the rest of it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, you too. Bye.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
I've been better, not gonna lie.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I've met you before, but I would like to debate you on Charlie Kirk, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared right now because I have evidence. I believe I have what could be evidence, and it's being overlooked by pretty much everybody that I can see.
Where have I met you before first?
In Dearborn.
In Dearborn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what did you want to debate me about related to Charlie Kirk, and what's the evidence?
I would need you to look up a video on YouTube for me for part of the evidence, but I want to just confirm with you. I want to share this with you because the way I see it, you are the next Charlie Kirk. You are the person who has stepped up into his footsteps the most out of anybody that I have seen, and I just feel like, if anybody is going to help me spread this story, I would like it to be you, but I need your confirmation that, you don't really care. I need your honest confirmation that you don't care who it is, you just care on catching the right person.
Yeah, for sure.
The truth.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, you don't have to do this on stream. You can do this. I can send it to you, or you can shoot. I'm thinking maybe possibly we should have a phone call separate from being live. I have your phone number already.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking it would possibly be better to talk to you on a phone call rather than on live in front of so many people.
Okay. Well, if you have my number, just shoot me a link to what you want me to see, and then I'm pretty sure I know who this is, and then just just shoot that to me, and then I'll look at it, and we can potentially hop on a phone call.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, how's it going, Grim?
Sorry about that. I was muted. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
First and foremost, Cam, you are the man. Thank you so much for what you do. I've been following you for a while. I think you have somewhat of a legion behind you now of people that are living vicariously through you and your work. So just kudos for all you do. We're very grateful to have you.
I appreciate it.
First question I have, are you going to be participating with Jake Lang in Plano, Texas this weekend?
I don't have any plans to at this time, but also I cannot disclose where I will be when I will be.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, understood. Just to kind of pivot from that, so I don't want to say where my location is, but I do work for the Roman Catholic Church, and I feel like the work that you're doing, just to kind of unface the takeover of America with Islam, I have noticed it working for the Catholic Church. We've had instances where Muslims have actually came into our cathedrals and they have prayed, and then they've looked at our cameras and actually smiled and waved. And we feel that it is kind of I'm not speaking for the Catholic Church when I say this, but right. I feel it's kind of a form of dominance. And so I feel like what you're doing is kind of making people aware of this. For those that work on the inside for the churches, I don't know if there's other folks here that work for nonprofits or religious that have noticed that as well. But as somebody who does work for the Catholic Church, I have noticed that. So I do appreciate you shedding light on this. And that's really all I have to say. So thank you so much for what you do.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for coming up. I appreciate it a lot. Can you hear me still?
Yep. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, we got my guy US Atlas coming up. And I know I have a couple text messages from you that I haven't responded to. Buddy? I'm sorry. I've just been so busy.
Well, that was honestly my first question. So I was going to ask if your phone number, I know you're super busy, so no hard feelings about not replying to the text message, but one of the last ones that I sent was a video of my son. He was watching like your stream.
Oh.
And he's a newborn. He was just like completely enamored with all the colors in the background and stuff. So I sent a video of him like just focused on your stream, and I was like, I hope I didn't just send this to a stranger or something.
No, I think I got it. Yeah, I've got a couple texts from you. I have so many people like backlogged in my texts that I have to respond to, that I just like I have to go through the whole thing and just respond to everyone all. It's like hundreds of text messages.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. You're a super, super busy guy. And like the last girl said, I know a lot of people are living vicariously through you. And I'm one of those people. Like whenever I sent that super chat when you were on Tim Pool's thing, and you were like, congratulations, Bradley. I didn't realize like how many of my friends watch like you and Tim Pool, but I started getting like a flood of text messages and phone calls being like, yo, I heard the pregnancy announcement on Tim Pool.
Really?
And I was like, oh, shit, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
I was like, I wasn't ready to like really announce it to the public, but I kind of wanted to. So like, I didn't think people I knew were watching though, but yeah, you have a lot further reach than I expected at that time anyway. But yeah, no, one of the things that I wanted to bring up was a possible tip for a story that I don't know if you're privy to yet, but there's this kid who lives in the next town over from me. His name's Caden Hawkins. He's a 23-year-old, and he got arrested. So he works on an oil rig out in the Gulf of Mexico, I believe. And he was coming home from work after, a long job, and his GPS took him to the U.S.-Mexico border. And he had a legally owned firearm in the state of Texas, and he's been held in a Mexican prison for the last 9 months because they tried to, And our representative, Jay Dean, is like, he's fighting to, get this kid out of this Mexican prison, but it's a really slow process, apparently. Able to look into that story and maybe spread the word, it might put more pressure on it to get this kid out of he's a U.S. citizen. And he's been held in a Mexican prison, and they're trying to extort him for money. Apparently, that's what the family's been claiming, is that they're trying to get like a big payout to release him.
And so he tried to had the gun in his car and didn't realize it and tried to cross the border.
No, he didn't try to cross. So according to his lawyers, his GPS took him to the U.S.-Mexico border while he was on his way back from like South Texas. He works on an oil rig out in the Gulf of Mexico. And so he, was finishing up a job. He was going to head back home over to Hallsville, which is up here in Northeast Texas. It's the next town over from me. And his GPS just, I guess, mistakenly took him to the U.S.-Mexico border. He tried to tell the authorities there that like, I'm just trying to make a U-turn. I didn't try to get in the queue to cross into the border. And I do have I think they asked like if he had weapons, and he said, I have a legally owned firearm in my car. And so they arrested him. And that was like back in March or something.
Wait, so he told U.S. authorities that he needed to make a U-turn and they didn't let him, made him go into Mexico, or what?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, so I get this. Wait a minute. So, yeah, when you cross the border, you don't actually talk to, like, U.S. Customs, actually, right? You talk to Mexican Customs. Like, if...
I believe so, yeah.
Because if I'm going to Canada, like, I've crossed the Canadian border a bunch of times, and it's like, when you get to the border, you don't actually speak with an American at the border. You're talking to a customs officer from Canada. So he would have had to have talked to a customs officer from Mexico rather than an American one, and the Americans would be on the other side entering back in.
Sorry, I don't know the exact details because now I'm looking at a story of it, and it says that it was actually at the border in Columbus, New Mexico. All I know is that he's an oil rig worker. He works on an oil rig. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in Columbus, New Mexico. He his GPS took him to the U.S.-Mexico border and put him in line to cross. And he tried to explain, like, I'm not trying to go to Mexico. I just need to make a U-turn. And, they didn't allow him because, they asked if he had any weapons. And he said he does have a firearm that's perfectly legal for him to own. Wow. So, but yeah, that's just a story that's going on. If you wanted to, his name is spelled Caden and then Hawkins, Hawkins.
Cool. I'll definitely look into this. This is an interesting story. We can put some pressure.
Yeah, it's a big one. And Jay Dean, he's been doing a really good job of trying to get the word out, and he's a good representative out here.
Who is? Okay,
So
yeah.
that's been appreciated.
Cool. I'll look into it and see what I can find, and maybe we'll do a video covering it.
Okay, yeah, sounds great. I look forward to seeing the video.
Cool, man.
But yeah, you take care, man. It's been good talking to you again.
Yeah, you too. I'll respond to your text.
All right, catch you later.
Yeah, see ya. Hi, how's it going?
Everybody switch it right actually hearing. Oh Lord. Okay, well, can you hear me?
Yep.
So didn't want to quite talk about what you were talking about tonight, but remember when you were back in Portland?
What's that?
And everyone was kind of wondering where everyone was getting these gas masks and all the stuff from.
Yep.
They're getting it from the city of Portland. The gas masks come from the south side watershed.
Wait.
I actually have one. My mother sent it to me. My mother used to be the principal financial analyst for Bureau of Environmental Services, which is the water and sewer company for Portland, Oregon. She passed away in 2016.
What was the name of the building that these masks come out of?
Southside Watershed. It's actually less than a mile south from where they're doing the protesting. But it's the exact same one. It's the glass fronts where you have the two sides on it, and it's usually pink ones on the sides.
Yep.
And the only ones that you normally see carrying that is like Gresham Outlook or Portland Tribune, stuff like that, like actual government facilities.
How do you know that they're coming from the Southside Watershed?
Because my mother gave me the exact same one for Christmas in 2015 when I lived in New York, and she gave me that and like test strips for radiation, and I didn't have like cable at the time, and I actually asked her, I'm like, do you know something I don't know? But that's why I know, like I know where they're from. She worked for the city of Portland for 30 years. She died in 2016.
Interesting.
I sent you a message about this a while ago. I guess it went into the filters or whatever, but
yeah, send it.
I just want to say something about it because I know where it's coming from. Around when they did the Occupy Portland or Occupy Wall Street thing in Portland, she had mentioned to me there was like one or two things that they came in as it comes normally in as special projects. And you have to look into it or ask about it in a meeting. Otherwise, it's just labeled as a special project. And the only time that one ever slipped through in 30 years was that one special project. And I have no proof, but it was around the same time. I just find ironic that August 2016, she passed away, and suddenly they have all the funding in the world.
Interesting. Send me another message with gas masks and all caps at the top.
Oh, I'll send you a picture of it. I have it still.
No, so like send me a new message with the information, and then like the first sentence says gas masks in all caps, so that when I go through and look for the message, I can find it easily. Because it probably got picked up by filters. I'll have to go to request.
Subjects with your messages now, but okay.
It's not a subject. It's just kind of like the first two words or whatever will be a preview, you know?
I'm just saying, and again, I have no definitive proof, and it would have gone with her. But I'm saying that the city of Portland definitely needs to be audited because it's coming from them. And this even goes back to Mayor Sam Adams. My mom blocked so many different projects he wanted to do. So I'm just saying, like, I've seen this, I've heard this multiple times. Every February we had to give her space because it was budget season. 30 years of it. And as soon as she passed away, suddenly they have all the funding in the world. Maybe it's a coincidence, maybe not.
Interesting. Well, I appreciate you coming up and telling me, and I'll definitely look into it.
Yeah, no problem. I'll send you a message again.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good one. Thank you.
You as well. All right, guys. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for today. We were over the amount of time that I wanted to spend taking questions, but I stayed longer. I think I did double what I wanted to do. So make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Like 90% of the people that watch my videos don't subscribe. Make sure to like the video, the live. Make sure to check out the description below. We have the Amazon wishlist and the Discord below, so join the Discord where you can all debate and have conversations with each other. Everyone's welcome. Communist, fascist, Nazi, I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're moderate right, moderate left, far right. Does not matter to me, centrist, whatever. Join the Discord. I want more people of diverse political opinions, so there's more discussions happening in the server, not less. And yeah, and also, like I said, we've got another video that just came out about an hour and 15 minutes at the University of Texas, Austin, where we debated Islam is incompatible with the United States of America and socialism is evil. That's up now. We got kicked off campus. That's in the video. So make sure to check that out. We got another hour and 45 minutes coming up because we got kicked off and then we just tabled right outside of campus and we got another hour and 45 minutes of footage. So make sure to check that out and hit the bell so you know when part 2 drops. And I will see you guys in... No, I said centrist. I didn't say far centrist. I'm not stupid. Okay. Anyway.